Hello students and welcome back to your science class. So we are studying about the components of food. Until now what we have studied, we are over with our main food groups and we have studied about the major 5 nutrients, and these are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins and the minerals constituting the 3 main food groups. These are energy giving foods comprising of the carbohydrates and the fats rich food. Then the bodybuilding foods, these are comprising the protein rich foods and the protective foods, which consist of the vitamins and minerals rich food. Now we are left with our two components of our food. These are also very important for us, and these are what? These are the dietary fibers and the water. So continuing with these two, let's study. Coming to the dietary fibers, these are also called roughage. So the dietary fiber forms the roughage part of our food, and dietary fibers are formed of cellulose, and cellulose is a complex carbohydrate that is found in the plants. And the main sources of the dietary fibers include the salad, all the vegetables, fruits and the whole grains, and the pulses and the beans also. Now, what is the function of this dietary fiber? Look, the roughage does not actually provide energy to our body, but still they are important for our body as they are involved in the normal functioning of the body. So the fiber, that is the dietary fiber, also known as roughage, it is having no nutritive value, but it is required by our body as it performs these following functions. These are: it prevents constipation, then it assists the body in the process of digestion, and it also helps to get rid of the undigested food. The digested food is absorbed by our body, but what about the undigested food? How we get rid of it? The undigested food is not required by our body, so we have to get rid of it, and the dietary fiber helps to get rid of the undigested food. Roughage is provided by the plant products in our food, and its main sources are the vegetables including carrots and cabbage, then fruits like apples and peaches, and all the whole grains like wheat and rice, and then the pulses and the beans. These are all the rich source of dietary fiber, or we can say the roughage part. Now coming to the water part, now water is very essential component of our body. Why? Because a major portion of our body is formed of water. Almost 70% of our body is formed of water, and it helps our body to absorb all the nutrients from the food we eat, and it is also essential for most of the life processes or the bodily functions, and it is also responsible in throwing out some waste from our body in the form of urine and the sweat. It's like about 2/3 of our body weight is due to water only. And normally we get most of the water required by our body from the liquids we drink, such as water. We should drink plenty of water daily as it is required by our body in a large amount. And we get the water from other liquids as well, like milk, tea, and the fruits and the vegetables we eat. Now, as water is a very essential component of our life, as it is very essential for our life, do you think you can survive without water? No, we cannot. Yeah, we can survive for some days, but we cannot survive without water for long. An adult is unable to survive more than a week without water. But he can survive for many weeks without food, provided he has water content. Now, water is involved in which functions? These are in front of you. It helps to move substances within the body. That means it is involved in the process of transportation. Also, it helps to absorb the nutrients from the food, as I already discussed. Then it helps in throwing out the waste such as urine, sweat from our body, and it helps to maintain a constant body temperature as well. So it is maintaining our body temperature, it is needed for the excretion of the body waste, then it is involved in the process of transportation, and also it acts as a medium for various chemical reactions that are taking place in our body. So these are some important components of our food. We are having the 5 nutrients, the carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins and the minerals. Then we are having the other 2 components involving the dietary fibers or the roughage part, and then the water. And now comes the very important part of the chapter, that is the balanced diet. We have discussed what is the balanced diet. A balanced diet is the diet which contains all the nutrients in right proportion, having a balance of all the nutrients. This type of diet is a balanced diet. Now, it varies from person to person depending upon the gender or the age group or the living style of the body. You are seeing in front of you a food circle that is showing different components of a balanced diet. It is having vitamin and mineral rich foods, then it is having carbohydrate rich foods, then the fat rich foods as well as the protein rich foods. So the balanced diet is having all the nutrients in right proportion so that we are having a balance of all the nutrients. Now, why the balanced diet is important for our body? A balanced diet is important for our body as it provides the sufficient amount of energy that is required by our body. Then it provides us the materials to repair the damaged cells or the tissues of the body. Then it is also providing us the materials for our growth and the reproduction. And a balanced diet for a normal and healthy person should contain about 60% of the carbohydrates, then 15% fats, 25% proteins, and small amounts of vitamins and minerals. That kind of a diet is important for a normal and a healthy person. Now, what if we don't include the balanced diet in our lives? What will happen if we are not taking a balanced diet? Then we will have the deficiency of one or more essential nutrients. And what will happen if we have deficiency of one or more essential nutrients in our diet? Definitely we will be having some deficiency diseases. So the diseases which occur due to deficiency of one or more essential nutrients in our diet, these are called deficiency diseases. Now, diseases develop if the deficiency continues over a long period of time. If we are having a deficiency of some nutrient over a long period of time, then definitely that deficiency will develop into some disease. And the deficiency diseases, they cannot be transmitted from one person to the another, but it can be prevented by eating a balanced diet. So we should include a balanced diet in our daily routines. Now, it must be understood that even the excessive intake of the food, it also leads to some health problems. We are saying that we should include a balanced diet. That means we should include the essential nutrients in our food, but excessive intake of food also leads to some health problems. And the excessive intake of food is called overeating. And it leads to a condition that is called obesity. And this is a condition in which the body tends to gain weight and he becomes fat. You are seeing in front of you an obese person. Let me show you another picture also. So you are seeing in front of you an obese boy. He is having overweight due to overeating. Obesity in children has become a common problem these days, and this is due to the excessive intake of the junk foods like pizzas, potato wafers, noodles, ice cream and soft drinks. Instead of playing outdoor games, playing games on computer and watching TV for long hours. These are also some causes of obesity. If we are eating junk foods that is involving lots of fats in it, and we are not doing any physical activities like playing outdoor games. Instead of playing the outdoor games, we are continuously sitting at one place, having a very sedentary lifestyle and playing games or on computers and watching TV for long hours. It will lead to obesity, and that is not a good thing for children. So we should include a balanced diet in our daily lifestyle. We should not take one kind of excessive nutrient that may cause some disease also. So we should include the balanced diet in our daily routine. We should have a balance of all the nutrients in our food so that we remain healthy. Now, when we are talking about the deficiency diseases, so it is a very clear cut fact that deficiency diseases can be classified into different groups having the deficiency of one particular nutrient. So, the deficiency diseases can be discussed under these following four heads: having the deficiency of protein, that we call as protein malnutrition, and we call it as Kwashiorkor disease. Then we are having the protein energy deficiency, that we call as protein energy malnutrition, having the deficiency of protein as well as energy, and this kind of malnutrition is known as marasmus. This kind of malnutrition is found in small children. Then we are having vitamin deficiency diseases and the mineral deficiency diseases. So discussing these, let's move further. So we can have a deficiency of carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are the main sources of energy. So having a deficiency of carbohydrates, we can say that we are having a deficiency of energy as well. So the deficiency of carbohydrates in the diet, it leads to weakening of the body and loss of stamina. And since we are having loss of stamina, so the body gets tired very quickly. And we are having a term that is known as malnutrition, which I am using here again and again. Now, what is malnutrition? Malnutrition is the condition that arises due to the inadequate food or the unbalanced diet. It is actually the condition that occurs in a person when the person is not getting enough nutrients. The person is lacking some nutrients. And then the next is deficiency of proteins. Now, proteins are the bodybuilding foods, and if we are having deficiency of proteins, that means our body will not grow properly. So following are the symptoms that will appear if a person does not get enough amount of proteins in the diet. So if the person is not having enough proteins in the diet, then he will be having stunted growth. That means having a very short height. If the body will not grow properly, then he may have the swelling of the face. Then he may have discoloration of the hair, because hair is having a protein that is known as keratin protein. If we are lacking the protein, the body is not having enough proteins, then the discoloration of hair may occur. Then we may have skin problems as well, and we may have the swollen abdomen, that means protruding belly. In children, deficiency of protein leads to severe malnutrition and diseases like Kwashiorkor and marasmus. And these are two diseases which are seen by the deficiency of proteins and the carbohydrate. So Kwashiorkor is one such disease which occurs in children due to the protein deficiency, and marasmus is another disease which occurs due to the deficiency of both the proteins as well as the carbohydrates. And these two diseases are seen in small children. So if a person is suffering from Kwashiorkor, he may show stunted growth or large pot-like belly, or we can say protruding belly with a swollen stomach. He may face mental retardation or a swollen face, or he may have thin legs and cracked and scaly skin. due to the deficiency of protein. And if a person is suffering from marasmus, then those person will be very thin and weak with loose folds of skin. In such children or in such persons, the growth of the body stops and the tissues are slowly destroyed. Then we are having some vitamin deficiency diseases and the mineral deficiency diseases as well. In front of you, a table is shown which is showing some deficiency of different vitamins, what kind of disease it is causing. So we are having deficiency of vitamin A causing night blindness, where the person is having loss of vision in the dark, or we can say night. So to cure the night blindness or the deficiency of vitamin A, he should include vitamin A rich sources in his diet. That means he should have carrot, tomato, all the green and leafy vegetables like spinach, then milk and fish. That is a rich source of vitamin A. Then we are having vitamin B. The person who is lacking vitamin B, it causes a disease known as beriberi, where the muscles becomes very weak and the person is having very little energy to work. So he should include cereals, peas, potato, meat and milk in his daily diet. Then we are having vitamin C deficiency causing scurvy. In this kind of disease, we have swollen gums or the bleeding gums. The gums are actually bleeding because of the deficiency of vitamin C. So to cure it, the person should include all the citrus fruits in his diet, like the lemon, orange, guava and the amla, which is very rich source of vitamin C. Then the person having a deficiency of vitamin D, it causes rickets, where the person is having very weak bones. We are also having deformed bones and joints. Then we are having softening of ribs and arched limbs. The person suffering from this kind of disease is having knock knees or bow legs, and also the development of pigeon chest condition is seen there. The person suffering from rickets, he is so weak that we can see the rib cage also properly on his chest. He is that weak. Then we are having vitamin K. Its deficiency causes effect on clotting of blood, because vitamin K is involved in the process of clotting of blood. So to cure it, the person should include spinach, cabbage, eggs, which are having rich source of vitamin K. Again, we are having another picture in front of you showing vitamins and their deficiency diseases. We are having here vitamin A, which causes night blindness, and here we are having all the vitamin B complex. The vitamin B1, its deficiency causes beriberi. Then we are having vitamin B2, its deficiency causes some skin disorders. Then we are having vitamin B6, its deficiency causes anemia, where we become so weak and our skin becomes pale. That means it becomes yellowish in color. Then we are having vitamin B9, its deficiency again causes anemia, but the symptoms are soreness of tongue, and we can see cracking corners at our mouth, and general weakness is also seen there. Then we are having vitamin B12. Its deficiency causes pernicious anemia, where we can see loss of appetite and stamina in the person with a frequent headache. A person having pernicious anemia, he becomes hungry after a very long time. His appetite is very low. Then we are having vitamin C. Its deficiency causes scurvy, and vitamin D, it causes rickets. Then we are having vitamin E, it causes some reproductive disorders, and then vitamin K, it causes effect on blood clotting. So, if a person is suffering from a deficiency of vitamin K, what will happen? Then, if the person gets hurt and he is bleeding from some part, since the body is having a deficiency of vitamin K, which is affecting the blood clotting process, then the bleeding will not stop. The person will have excessive bleeding and blood will not clot. And then we are having the mineral deficiency diseases where the body lacks some minerals. If the body is lacking the mineral calcium, then the bones and the teeth, they will become very weak. And the symptoms of such disease are the brittle bones and the tooth decay, because the bones and the tooth are not strong enough. So we should include calcium rich sources in our food, and milk is one such product that is a complete diet. Actually, it is having lots and lots of nutrients, vitamins and minerals in it. It is a very rich source of calcium. Then we can have the other milk products also. Then we are having a deficiency of iron that is causing anemia. Here the function of iron is to form the red pigment of blood, that is hemoglobin. If we are having iron deficiency, then we will lack the hemoglobin and it will again cause anemia, where the body becomes pale, the nails become white. At the end of the nails, at its roots, you can see whitening. That is due to the anemia, and the body also becomes very weak. So we should include some iron rich sources in our diet. Then we are having deficiency of iodine that causes goiter, where we can see the enlargement of the neck. Why? Because there is an enlargement of the thyroid gland in the neck. These are some deficiency diseases you can refer from here that are caused by the deficiency of minerals. Another table is here, which is again showing the deficiency diseases caused by the minerals. Calcium, it causes rickets or the weakening of bones and the teeth. Then we are having iron that is causing anemia. Then iodine causing goiter. Then the deficiency of sodium and potassium causing hypokalemia, where we can see the symptoms like dehydration and extreme muscle weakness. When the person is suffering from hypokalemia, the body gets dehydrated very easily and we are having extreme weakness in the muscles. Then the fluorine, its deficiency causes tooth decay. Then we are having deficiency of zinc, it causes anorexia, where we are having a large amount of hair loss and some white spots on the fingernails. Then we are having in the last the two terms that are undernutrition and malnutrition. These are having different meaning. It looks very similar, but they are having different meaning. Let me make you understand. So the undernutrition is the condition when the body is getting less amount of nutrients than what are required, even if it is balanced. The diet is balanced, but the nutrient the body is getting, these are in less amount than what is required by the body. At such a condition, the body becomes weak and sick. This unhealthy state of the body is called undernutrition, and it may be caused due to poverty or the non-availability of sufficient food. Then we are having malnutrition. In malnutrition, the food is lacking or is having shortage of one or more nutrients, and it is due to the intake of unbalanced diet. So the malnutrition is having intake of unbalanced diet, but the undernutrition is involving Balanced diet with somewhat lesser amount of nutrients than what are required by the body. So this is all with this chapter. I hope this chapter is clear to you. So this is all with this chapter. In the next class we will be starting with a new chapter. Till then, take care and have a nice day.